Okay.
Mold to something.
So can I use that outlet or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's Linda?
Okay. Linda.
Hi, I'm not ready yet, but hold on.
Yeah, it's okay. Take your time. Who's playing the creep in their background?
Hmm?
Somebody's playing this creep in their background. It's not me.
Who? What? How do I change my background?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Somebody has Cuomo on, and it's not me.
Oh no, I don't have him on, not yet.
Linda, do you have him on?
Cuomo?
Yeah.
I cannot stand that guy.
Okay. Let's see
No,
what's
I'm
going
gonna
on.
have like something else.
Okay.
Oh God, here he goes. Now, okay, now I have him on. I'm gonna mute him. I'm ready when you're ready.
Do you have him on?
He's on TV, but he's muted. You can't hear it. It's on mute.
Okay.
But I don't want to. I mean, he typically will start with the most nonsense. So we got to get those first couple minutes.
Okay. Now, if you want to share in timeline, share to a group.
Yeah, this is the bulb we grew up, right?
Yeah,
Wanna get the bulb.
that would be amazing. Thank you.
Give us like 20 minutes from that.
You could get 2 bulbs because one's out
Yeah,
there
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I only have one up there.
Don't tell.
All right, thank you, thank you.
About 20 minutes.
Perfect.
You know what? It's lunchtime. My guy's got to eat. He's in here since 7.
I'll be here. Just
Okay, so
Just knock
about-
on the door.
About 40 minutes.
and if I might run out to the store or something, Elvis has my number.
Coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. All right, don't worry, look at it. Go ahead.
Thank you. All right. All right.
right.
Those guys. Right.
Oh, he's coming out.
Okay. How's everybody doing? How's their Cuomo life treating them? I just got to do a sound check real quick.
Future.
Can you
I'm
guys hear
afraid
this
to
creep?
say.
I can hear it. Yeah.
You want to
Linda, can you hear him?
get this
Yeah.
number down?
Okay. Okay, so let's stop the screen share. Now, today we have Eric and Linda. And
What's
Eric,
up? What's up? Let me just plug in real quick. I've been having these electrical issues, so I got to rework my. But I'm good. All right. Boom.
now, both Eric and Linda are basically they're heroes. They're absolute heroes. They are two people that saw what was going on with the Corona Bona extravaganza, and they took a stand. They took a stand against New York State and all the nonsense, and they decided, you know what, we're not going to take it anymore. They're not animals. They're good people, and they simply went down to City Hall to protest, to say, hey, let's open the city back up. And what happened?
Well, I'll let Linda tell it because she had double duty.
Apparently it's illegal to protest. Well, now it's not, but before it was. You get arrested, put in handcuffs by 24 police officers.
Yeah, I counted 32 surrounding you. I counted.
Is that what it was? I would have
I-
said at least 2 dozen. At least 2 dozen, right?
Yeah, when it was just Linda getting arrested, it was 32 cops surrounded her. I counted it on the video. I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 32.
And think
You
about
know
it,
what?
Linda. Was there even 30 protesters? It wasn't even like there was.
7.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. So they outnumber the protesters 2-1. These New York City police officers. Look, it's just so bizarre. It's so bizarre. But no. Oh God. Sorry, I'm looking at it. I can't hear what he's saying, but we know that it's nonsense.
Hey, you want to just get to work and start bitching about Cuomo and see what he has to say? All right, let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. And bam, bam. Let's rock and roll here. Come on.
Colors. It's a pleasure
Oh my God.
to be across the nation. And we talk about our responsibilities, and I feel good about what the states and what the governors are doing. My question is, what is Washington going to do, the federal government, because they have a role also in this? Yes, the states are in charge, and yes, the states are implementing their plans, but we need support from the federal government, and that's the role of the federal government. Washington has passed numerous pieces of legislation, and they've successfully bailed out big corporations. They've passed pieces of legislation that have a lot of benefits for the rich and the powerful. Now, the question is, what is Washington going to do in terms of passing legislation that helps working Americans, right?
Okay,
Police
real quick,
officers,
why is he separating businesses with people as though people do not work for those businesses? How is he not understanding that those two things are linked together?
Well, you know what? He's pointing out the fact that it's big corporations. He's trying to make the government look stupid because they do bail out big corporations, but they didn't bail out the people.
But they're not completely, you can't completely separate
No,
the two.
I get it, but I understand what he's trying to do. This is why he's doing it. But he should be talking about Northwell Health and how much money they got during this whole, and they still are getting. Northwell Health has gotten more money out of this pandemic than anybody else, and no one talks about it. Each hospital, Bellevue, Elmhurst, Maimonides are owned partly by Northwell Health.
All right, continue. Let's go. It's gonna be tough.
Remember the first day when me and you did this, Eric, and we were going
Yep.
through Cuomo? It was all about Northwell Health, Northwell Health, Northwell Health. He's like
And you see the
promoting
ads
them.
everywhere. They're running commercials and everything.
They
is
own
it-
hospitals, all of them, pretty much.
And is this one of these big corporations that Cuomo dares to demonize?
Nope.
No.
He won't touch them.
Yeah, absolutely not. Okay, let's go back to the creep.
All right.
Go back to the creep. Come on, baby.
providers, school teachers, hospitals, unemployed people, businesses that are struggling. How do we help them? How do we bring them up? And that's what states do and local governments do, and that's state and local government funding, and they have to provide that. Also, my opinion is Washington.
Can I just say that this guy is bringing up that states and local governments are responsible for helping out local businesses? Does anybody have any idea what's happening to businesses that are anywhere north of the Hudson Valley in New York State? Absolutely falling apart. They're absolute wastelands. You talk to young men, 25 in their prime of their working career. The only job they have is to deliver goddamn pizzas to welfare recipients. It's an absolute joke.
Just for this once, and their proclivity to make every piece of legislation pork barrel legislation. I understand they have to get senators to vote for it, and they have to get House members to vote for it, but that doesn't mean they have to make it a gravy train of pork just to pass it. Maybe you can just pass a bill on the merits of a bill. How about that? Novel.
Wait, stop.
This is supposed to.
He just mentioned about passing a bill. His whole time that he was talking about, if I have to make it a law, he just literally screwed himself on everything that he was saying prior to this.
Okay. What do you?
Remember how he was talking? Because everything he said was illegal. If you listen to him, if you break it down like we're doing word for word, he goes back on everything that he said. Because before, a month ago, 2 months ago, he said, if I have to make it a law, a social distancing law. Now he's completely taking that off of everything, and he's talking about, I'm going to pass a bill, or they're going to pass a bill, or whatever.
So he's losing. He's not only is he putting all the responsibility on somebody who's representing Alaska right now instead of himself, although he's showing how much power he actually has, but he's also walking himself into a corner. by
He's
saying
already in the corner. He's trying to get out of it. He's trying to get out of it.
He let it.
let it play. Let it play.
Let it.
Okay. Okay. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this.
To be a specifically targeted piece of legislation to help restore the economy and repair the damage of the COVID virus. Well, then make the legislation about funding to repair the COVID virus. And you know where the COVID virus has been in this country. You know where it's wreaking.
Just want to look at this. Relief shortchange hardest hit states. What is he talking about? Alaska got 3.5 million. Wyoming got 2 million. This is how much funding. Oh, this is how much federal funding per positive case each state got.
So basically, this to me sounds like his little plan just backfired. He wanted to pump up the numbers. Now, okay, maybe that's a little bit too conspiratorial, right? But if you look at some of the things that he did early on, along with de Blasio's recommendations and Osiris Barbeau's recommendation, you would almost think that they wanted this thing to spread and that they were going to get more money on each case. But now, unfortunately, they're not getting the dollars per case that they would have liked to. That's what it sounds like to me.
All
But
right,
they already got the money. They already received it. They received it in the hospitals.
But he's
For
saying
every dead person that they unfortunately killed with their actions.
exactly. But he wants more per case.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any more.
What is going
and
on?
backfire. So you killed those people in hopes of getting more money per case, and now you're whining because you didn't get quite the funding per case that you wanted.
But he got more. Like literally, if you count how much money they got in Medicaid, how much money they got for COVID positive, how much money they got in donations. I'm not talking about Cuomo, I'm talking the hospitals, and I'm pretty sure they paid them off.
But if you look at that chart, if I understand that chart properly, he is saying that he didn't get enough money per positive case.
Yep.
And he's just complaining because he thought he was going to pump up these numbers and make it seem and get more money per positive case. And he fell short and now he's angry. That's what it looks like to me.
And then
he wants 3 million per case and he only got 23,000. And he's like, well, I deserve more per case.
I'm screen sharing and my phone's my webcam, so this is really difficult for me. How many positive cases were there in Alaska? 2? 10?
I'm gonna look.
Did each state get $30 million, $33 million per COVID patient? Or like,
I'm going into Alaska right now. 1 second.
like, what is it? I mean, maybe he breaks it down further in the slides.
All right.
But what is
So
this shit?
Alaska had total testing 195,000, 581 deaths, and total positive cases 15,843.
Wait, say that again. 15,843.
All right, you can't see it. Okay, positive cases 15,843.
Okay, so 15,000. Does anybody have a calculator on them? Again, my phone I can't do that kind of math in my head. I used to be able to, but you know,
I can't do it.
I'm out of the circuit. 15,000 positive cases, and they got 3. So they got.
Give it 16 because it's 15,000.
So Alaska got $45 billion for this. Is that what they're telling me?
I don't.
What?
I don't know what to believe. I don't even know if I could trust the numbers.
Hold on. What is 3.5 million? Let's just say 3.5 million times 15,000. Can somebody look that up for me?
I think it's total.
No, this per positive case. This is how much money Alaska got.
3.5 thousand times.
I don't know way. They would not give that much money.
How much?
One person?
Yeah, it won't even calculate. Like
I think it's total. It's total.
Yeah, so I get it. They've already done the breakdown, right? So
that's
there's
propaganda. That's
hold on.
Propaganda.
Hold on, though. This says Alaska per positive case. So per Linda's chart, they got 15,000 positive cases in Alaska. Per positive case, they got 3.3 something million dollars.
I don't think that's what I don't think. I
What,
don't, think,
what I don't have a
think they
calculator. What
already
is
did
that?
the
Is that
breakdown.
is that
They already-
$4.5 trillion? Is that how
They
much
would
that is?
not get that much money. It's
No.
Did
no.
somebody do the math for me, please?
Oh
I don't
my
have a
God.
calculator in my fucking hand, please.
All right. Look.
It doesn't even compute in your head. It doesn't compute. It's a
No,
pretty easy math.
because they've already done the math for you. So they're telling you at the bottom it says per positive case, but they've already done the breakdown.
Oh my God,
So
it's like
total-
$250 a person.
So no, they're telling you it's $250. No, it's not $250 a person. No,
It is.
come on, wake up. Just help me out here.
They would
Let's
not
go-
spend that much money.
Let's
$4
go through
million?
the chart. Let's go. Just do the math. What is 15,000 times 3.5 million? Please.
No, it does not compute. I tried it on my iPhone. 3.5 million times
No,
16.
it's 55 billion. It would not. No, they would not give them 55 billion.
55 billion.
No.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. They've already done the
Okay,
math for
do
you.
me a favor.
The chart is misleading.
Do me a favor. Look up how many cases were in Wyoming, please.
Hang on.
Doing so right now. I'm looking. Give me a second.
I mean, listen, if he's gonna give us these charts, we gotta see if they're bullshit or not.
Positive 850 cases.
850 cases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
13 deaths.
13 deaths. So he's saying, wait, 850 positive cases? So he's saying that they got $2 million per positive case.
no.
So
Okay, Wyoming. Okay, how many positive cases in Wyoming again?
850.
850. Okay, so 2 million. One
But maybe for the testing as well.
divided by 850 would be $2,500 per positive case in Wyoming.
what are you dividing?
I just took the number that Wyoming got and just divided it by the 850 positive cases.
Okay.
Because
maybe-
there's no way that this chart is telling you the amount that the state got for every single case. That's just not possible.
Okay.
Even if that were the case.
Okay. Wait. Your math is so off because if you do that, how many positive cases were in New York?
Hold on. All right, we have New York 364,965.
So you're telling me you're going to divide 364,000 into 23? No, it's 364,000 times $23,000 per case is how much federal funding they got.
Well, you know what? I actually have a theory. Okay, you know how the federal COVID funding per positive case, right? You know how it starts from Connecticut, Jersey, and then it goes New York?
Okay.
So he could have just put that's how much they got per case, and that's just total how much was received by the other governments. Because he could
No.
do that, and he would not be wrong by doing that.
No, this is real. I wish we didn't have to spend so much time on this. This is real simple. First of all, you guys are looking at this chart wrong. It's real simple and it's bullshit. And it's
I
bullshit.
think the chart is deceiving.
And it's
I think
bullshit.
The chart doesn't make sense.
The chart doesn't make sense,
no
but the way
way.
you're going at it is wrong. He is telling you it's simple. Federal COVID-19 funding per positive case.
So you're telling me that Alaska got more than $3 million for every one case they had? There's no way.
For all 15,000 people.
There's no way.
No. There is more of a way than New York only got $23,000 and they had 300-something thousand people that tested positive. I don't think so. This is how this chart works. This is remarkable. Either this is complete bullshit or this is completely remarkable.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. So we've been on this for far too long.
Sorry.
I'm
Sorry.
still watching it though. And of course, he's talking about Northwell Health.
okay, so let's
Depression. But there was a plan afterwards. We went through World War II, but there was a plan to restore the economy. Where's the plan? Where's the vision? Where's the plan to say, yes, we went through hell, but heaven is on the other side.
Oh, shut up.
And we're going to rally and we're going to be better for
God.
this. BBB, build back better. We're not just
BBB.
going to return to where we were.
Bareback
We're
is
gonna be
better.
than
Get
ever
on
before.
your prep now.
And to make sure that any of those corporations that took taxpayer money rehire the same number of workers. You hear these corporations
Yeah,
now
here he
talking
goes
about,
with
well,
this
we're
shit
going to
again.
take this opportunity to restructure.
Here he goes with this shit again.
Are we like in the new deal, like Roosevelt type
This-
of thing?
No, I'm telling you, I've been saying this since the get-go because all the markings are on the wall. If you take a look at the Green New Deal written out of Connecticut, and you take a look at the stimulus package written out of Connecticut, you will realize that the stimulus package is basically the model of the things that they need to put into place for the Green New Deal to happen. And then you'll realize that this stimulus package was written a year and a half ago.
So we could all see this coming. At the beginning of this, I made an early YouTube video just saying this is their way to force democratic socialist policies right down our throats. I mean, you can see
Straight up classic Marxism. This is straight up classic Marxism.
And just before we get back to it, how is anybody in their right mind who's paying even a half a percentage of attention gonna look at what we've been through over the past 4 years between Russia and Ukraine, and you thought it was just gonna stop there? Oh, okay, we lost. No, of course they're gonna destroy the entire thing and then sell you the solution. Like it's painfully obvious.
No. What they've done was they took us and they took the youth and they manipulated the youth to show them that this was going to be the better way.
But you don't think that after the impeachment fell flat on its face, that what was left? The shiny best economy we had since the Great Depression. That was the last thing they had, so they had to tear it all apart and tell you that our policies are going to work.
Why in 2018? Because if the bill was presented, and this is a massive bill, why, if the bill was presented in January 24th, 2019, why in 2018 would Congress out of Connecticut be writing this grand, mighty stimulus package for $2.2 trillion with $600 unemployment and everything coinciding lockstep with the Green New Deal? And my question is while Trump and nobody else really gave a shit that they were being impeached, besides, again, Rachel Maddow and Rudy Giuliani, what Republicans were out there going, what are these assholes doing? What are these assholes doing signing this stimulus package? We have the best economy ever. I don't understand. They're all
Can I
in
say
on it.
something? Wait, can I say something? You're going ahead of what actually is going on outside of New York. He just said we got over World War II. What are we supposed to do? What happened after World War II? People came home and they started working. They opened up businesses. And then the government decided to pass bills or whatever, and people bought houses. So how about we just get back to work and the government does what they do? He just said it. He just said it.
It's a very simple solution. However, what happened after World War II was not that simple. What happened after World War II is they stole all the mind control and all the geoengineering and all that, the pharmaceuticals, all that stuff from the Nazis, and they started implementing it here. They started building highway systems. They started socially engineering our lives. They started building NYCHA complexes. They started building jails. They started a drug war. They started new education systems. They started the Cloward-Piven strategy to make us all broke and have us become communists.
But do you understand that he's doing this exact thing right now, but people are not allowed to work? Because he wants a brand new school system. He wants everything brand new. But the average American, the average New Yorker is suffering.
Yeah, well, he wants to decide which job you can take.
Yeah, and how much you're going to make. And then they're going to own the property and where you're going to live. There's going to be housing based on demographics, housing based on, political voting and everything. We're about to get socially engineered.
We're going to get lean. You know what that means? That means they're going to lay off workers. That means they're going to boost their profits and their stock price by laying off workers and not
I want
rehiring.
to see what he's up to now. I'm
Bruckner
sorry.
section of the
This- yeah,
Bronx,
this is more
38%.
important right here.
If you is where essential workers live, by neighborhood, by zip, New York State per capita than any country.
I
in
don't
the-
believe that.
Wait,
We're
what
doing-
happened with the essential work? I want to see that. That's not true because my neighborhood has more essential workers than anybody.
I think I was just rewinding, so we're gonna go through that stuff. So let's play this creep out for a second.
Okay, so with the testing capital, when you do that many tests, you can target exactly where people are getting sick and where those new cases are coming from. And what you can look at that by neighborhood, by zip code. And what you see is more of the cases are coming from outer borough communities, more minority communities, lower income communities, new hospitalizations coming from people who are not currently working. They're not essential workers. They're communities where essential workers live.
Okay, so he's saying that are we going to be the ones that are vaccinated first? The low income minority outer borough people that aren't working? is that what he's saying?
Dude, oh my God. He's got a special, I'm sorry, I'm like jumping ahead. Rosey Perez is there. Anyways.
Oh, Jesus. Rosey Perez
but
is
they're
there?
not
He's
Oh,
saying, he's
Jesus
playing pure
Christ.
politics right now. He is saying all the buzzwords that the left has been using for decades. Oh, lower income, minority. He's just playing their siren song. I don't believe any of this. I'm in Flatbush, Brooklyn. The testing site is empty every day. You guys know that.
Rosey Perez is there?
Rosey
Oh.
Perez is on. I don't know what she's saying because it's on mute, but
Oh,
what does
you're in the
Rosey
red
Perez
zone.
have to do with this?
Okay,
Because she's going to appeal to the minority vote.
she's bought and sold by the CFR and the elitists and the Illuminati or whatever the hell you want to say, or she's just wore a mask for too long and is buying into the rhetoric, and they're going to use her as their. You won't see Nydia Velasquez, who has Corona, put her name on this. You don't.
So, look, if you bring out a washed up celebrity from the 90s, I don't even know what she's saying, but that should be proof that you are not making a good point.
I gotta fast forward this and see what's going on here.
My girls have been very good at telling me that when I raise the frustration of communication, they say, well, it's you, Dad. You're the one who's not communicating. They've had many helpful
I'd
hints
agree.
as to why I haven't been able to communicate effectively or to the level I would like to. That I'm not cool enough. I think I'm cool. Okay, I'm wearing a cool mask. I don't have enough edge. One of them said I don't have enough edge to communicate effectively. So I'm trying different ways. They didn't like the state advertising. We're now doing different state advertising. But I understand that I need reinforcements and I need help in communication, especially when I'm in Brooklyn. Even though I'm
Oh my God.
half from Brooklyn, that doesn't matter when you're from Brooklyn.
Did he say he came from Brooklyn?
He went to Brooklyn to go wash the freaking subways and I missed it because I would have called him out on it. He did it right by my house. I would have called him out. I didn't know he was here.
Did he just say that he came from Brooklyn?
Just let him keep going. He is digging his own grave.
Brooklyn performers, Chris Rock and Rosey Perez, who are going to join us.
Chris Rock?
We thank them very much. They're
Oh
going to help
my
communicate
God.
this. They're going to do advertisements
Oh
for
my
the
God,
state.
this is humiliating.
And
How much are they
they're
getting
going to
paid?
help
I want to know how much they're getting
communicate
paid.
this message
How
that
much
it's
adrenochrome did they
important
just inject
for
with
an
these-
individual's
Is it even
health,
them
for a
with these
family's
masks
health, and it's important for
Wait,
all.
Daniel, stop for a second. Stop for a second.
We're
stop for a
one
This
second.
is
family
epic.
in New
This
York.
is epic.
One family
Stop
in
it for a
Brooklyn.
second.
Oh my
So
God.
we're not
Oh.
allowed to socialize. Is Chris Rock literally living with him?
Dude, what? Okay, how do people not see that this is a complete game? They get announced and walk out wearing blue gloves and face masks? Look, what? Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, I can't even believe
Why didn't
that.
they get De Niro? He would have done it.
Well, he's in the next phase, or they're probably negotiations probably went wrong between them. So something
Well,
happened.
De Niro's he's not minority enough. He's not
And
black.
yeah,
Exactly.
and Jumaane Williams didn't accept it because Jumaane Williams can only use black people and stand up for black issues. It's so ridiculous. Anyway, let's go back to this is human history. They basically zombified, chemical lobotomized, Neuralinked Chris Rock and Rosey Perez.
No,
already.
they got paid. I want to know how much money they received.
Oh,
They got paid
I
100%.
think they're chipped. I think they're zombies already.
No.
Oh my God.
They need money because they're not getting any money right now.
The gloves.
family in Queens, one family, New York City, and do it for the good of the family. Rosey, it's great to be with you again. Chris, I'm so glad that you're here. I can't thank you guys enough.
Oh God. Did he just get raped
And we'd
or
love to
something?
hear from you, whichever one wants to
He
start.
looks weird.
Ladies,
Oh, thank you, Chris.
you go.
He's such a gentleman.
What a gentleman.
Oh, she's
It's
so
it's
hot.
it's an honor, and it's really good to
Rosey.
be here with my friend, my fellow
Oh, God.
Brooklynite, Chris Rock, and of course, fantastic Governor
Oh, she's
Cuomo,
so hot.
who has been such an amazing leader during this crisis.
Yeah, she's got
You know,
she's
and
got
I'm
a
proud to be
vibrator while she's
partnering
talking.
with the governor to make sure that my hometown, my borough, my beloved borough, Brooklyn, and all of New York, most impacted communities have their resources. They need to stop the spread of this virus and to help spread the word about what we all have to do to beat this virus. In Brooklyn, there's a saying, spread love the Brooklyn way. And I want to extend that to not just the outer boroughs, to the tri-state area, but to all of America and to all the world. Spreading love the Brooklyn way means respecting your neighbors, respecting your communities. And the way you can do that is by getting tested, wearing a mask. That says, I love
Trying to find our way
Oh
through
no!
this.
Sorry, guys.
me proud to be from New
Okay,
York.
but can you tell?
You guys are the rock.
If people were really this distraught about getting a test, they wouldn't have to sell it so hard, right?
Yes, exactly.
She's clearly reading off a script. Chris has his script there too. They have their little costumes, their gloves, their masks. Come on, guys. This is absolutely humiliating.
Okay, I think like Chappelle just obliterated
And
Chris
the
Rock's
craziest,
career.
wait. The craziest part is because the videos that you took of Brooklyn, of the testing sites, I posted them and a lot of people shared them. And a lot of people saw it. I think they're trying to cover up the tracks because a lot of people in Brooklyn are taking these testing sites and no one's there.
Exactly.
And
And
remember,
they're telling us, they bring out two people from Brooklyn to say, oh, we're being hit so hard. Okay, I get it. It's dangerous. But you can't just treat us like kindergartners forever. What's next? They're going to say, well, you can't wear flip-flops in New York now because you might get poop on your feet. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Well, oh, now you have to, when it rains, you must carry an umbrella. Otherwise, you're going to get wet. That doesn't make sense. This is absolutely bizarre. And then for them to strut out these washed up, look, these Hollywood celebrities, that to me is a clear indicator that they have no more points to make. They're like, oh, well, let's just go Hollywood because the facts don't matter. They're talking about, oh, we're testing. I actually asked one of the workers at the testing facility very nicely, no camera, no phone. He said they were testing 1,000 people a day. And I told him, I don't believe you. I do not believe you. It's like, he didn't know that I had been watching it almost every day since the day it opened. He had no idea. So he just came up with something and said, about 1,000. There's no way. They would be lucky to do 45 tests in a day on a good day.
I would just like to point out he's stressing Brooklyn, and look at us. I don't care what anybody says. Right now, grassroots, us three we're the biggest players in this thing right now.
But can I just say
We might not
something?
have riots. We might not have this. We might not have that. But us little
Wait,
group
wait.
and our friends,
Hold on.
us going out there is what we beat them.
Every person that got arrested for protesting, except I believe one, was from Brooklyn.
Exactly.
I did
And
not
it
know
still
that.
hasn't made the news, and nobody asked him about the lawsuits. No one asked him about
Nope.
the ACLU suing him for the First Amendment.
I
Nope.
filed officially yesterday.
But I filed it a week ago.
Yeah,
And
I just did mine yesterday, but they're gonna start flying around, and you could probably all around the country if you think about it. I mean, it's going. I mean, I'm sure Michigan and California. Gavin Newsom's already. I mean, he's already swimming in lawsuits. I'm sure.
And keep in mind, the one person not from Brooklyn was from Howard Beach, was just pretty much Brooklyn anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it pretty much is Brooklyn. I mean, yeah. So basically, and so they, because of us, need to come at us with Chris Rock and Rosey Perez, just like when I go down to NPR, they need to come at me with a freaking army. They need to come at her with 32 cops to arrest her.
Yep.
This is really important.
It proves how scared of the truth they actually are, right? I mean, it wouldn't be if we were all in the wrong. Now, obviously, nobody's right all the time, but if we were all just completely off base here, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. They wouldn't.
Well, technically, we'll be dead.
Okay, let's see what
I'm
Chris
just saying,
Rock
because we
has
would
to
have
say.
gotten corona and we would have gotten sick. I'm just saying.
Let's chime into Chris Rock.
All right.
The end of his career. He was awesome until right about now.
Rosey, thank you so much. Chris?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
I watch you every single
Oh,
day,
Jesus.
Oh my
and
God.
you bring me calm.
Oh,
You
calm.
bring me joy.
That
Didn't
Satan is taking over.
Anita Baker sang that. You bring me joy every single day.
Adrenochrome.
Because I don't know what's going on. I thought I lived in the United States. I thought I lived in a country, and now I realize we have 50 countries, essentially.
Wow.
Right now, we're in the country of New York.
Oh, actually, he's right.
I got the test today. I just got tested to come out here. I got a 65, so just
Passed.
just passed. I'm actually, we haven't been able to perform or do any shows or anything. I'm looking at this microphone right here. I'm like, wow. I just
Feels good.
Can I just say hi, microphone? I've really missed you. I know it's been hard, but we're gonna get back together at some point, and it's gonna be even better than the last time, microphone. I will never take you for granted. People need to get tested, and people need to make it a festive occasion. They need to posse up
festive
and get
occasion.
tested. Like all the crew is getting tested, and the family should get tested.
Oh my God.
And if you love your grandmother, if you love
They are so disciplined for the last 200 years to pack their bullshit with the prettiest bow they could possibly find, and this is what they do. Chris Rock puts us at ease, makes us laugh a little bit, and now he's saying, get you and your whole family, your whole crew, everybody tested. This is creepy, man. This is epically creepy.
You know what? I would actually believe what he was saying if they would have put Tracy Morgan on. I would actually believe.
But Tracy Morgan's too real. Tracy Morgan's too real.
That's what I'm saying. He lives in Brooklyn. He's filming that show, the OG. If they would have put him on, I would believe it.
But see, Tracy Morgan though, he doesn't have Trump derangement syndrome. He doesn't live in a Hollywood elitist bubble. I don't know the man personally, but he seems a little bit more down to earth than this clown right now, wearing gloves, strutting out with a mask, talking about go get your whole family tested.
Yeah, dressed like a scarecrow.
Dude, how old is Chris Rock? He's getting old. He's got these cornrows going on now. Like, what's going on here? It looks like he's running low on adrenochrome.
It does. He really does look like he's high on adrenochrome. And they both have vibrators in. And this is absolutely ridiculous.
Your elderly mother, your elderly anybody, you should get tested. And it's not just, it's wherever.
Okay, pause it really quick.
Wherever there are poor people.
Let's not forget, early on, when that testing site first opened up right here in Flatbush, April 10th, 2020, I called the number and she told me we do not have enough supplies to get everybody tested. In fact, her exact words were, they're not going to just take anyone off the street. So we've done a complete 180 to the point where you couldn't get it. We just didn't have enough tests. We didn't have it. Of course, Chris Cuomo and Brooke Baldwin and Kevin Durant, they all got tested, no problem. But us here in the hard-hit communities of color, we just couldn't take anyone off the street. Fast forward 8 weeks, and now they're begging people to get a test because the sites are empty. And Cuomo and de Blasio are both going to try to play it as a victory. Like, look what we did. We expanded the testing. We're so great at our job. Now give us more federal funding. That's all that's going on.
Crazy. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's go back. I mean, this is the greatest piece of propaganda
It really is. It really is.
I've ever seen in my life. I mean, Hitler couldn't have pulled off this kind of propaganda. This is outrageous. Okay.
Look at this clown, dude.
I mean, he knows he's a clown. Like,
He knows it, dude.
he is high on some shit. Too.
No, he just said he has no money because he couldn't do shows. He just said it. He told you why he's doing it.
Well, I sure as hell am not going to any post-coronavirus Chris Rock shows. There's no way.
I will only YouTube Chris Rock to make fun of him with other people from now on. There is no, I won't. Yeah, no, Chris Rock is so fucked right now. I don't care what anybody says. Let's listen to him though.
It's wherever people are congested. So yes, it's in East New York. Yes, it's in Brownsville. But it's also in Garrison Beach. It's also in Marine Park. It's also, so.
Oh yeah. So go
What's
ahead.
up with Coney Island? Come
yeah.
on.
Good luck going after the people in Garrison Beach, Chris Rock. Good luck. Good luck.
Body that can get tested should get tested as soon as possible. And I'm just so, Governor called me up and I'm here to do whatever is required. And, I hope to God that when this is over, you're still a part of the government. I don't this just keeps going on.
Oh my God, dude.
I just think
throw something at the wall.
No,
right
wait. No, honestly, I think it's like a satire type of thing. Like he knows this dude is killing people, but he just has to be there because he's getting paid. He's like, I thank God that you're gonna be part of it. I hope, thank God. You know what I mean? Like he's literally, I don't know. I feel like he's getting paid, but he's kind of calling him out.
Oh yeah. So think about it. Think about you're Chris Rock. You're a rebellious comedian your whole life, right? And all of a sudden you get this call from Cuomo. First of all,
and you haven't gotten paid in two months.
First of all, Cuomo doesn't just call up Chris Rock and go, Chris Rocky Poo, I need a favor from you. Like, what's going on here? How long have they been on payroll together? And yeah, basically, Andrew Cuomo just made Chris Rock the spokesman for the Corona Bona, and he's going to get good money. And Chris Rock is saying, hey, I hope you become president or something else and become part of government, because me being your spokesman, I could do this all day long. This is some good money.
Who is this really for? Now, I mean this honestly. I perhaps I'm stuck in my little bubble of trying to figure out something that's true in this world. But who is this targeting? This is targeting the old lady in her house wearing gloves and a mask and banging a pot with a spoon, who's already part of this. Who is going to be like, you know what? I wasn't really part of any of this, but now that Chris Rock says, I'm going to go do it. I just don't.
He just dismissed East New York and Brownsville to bring up the whitest neighborhood in New York City besides Borough Park, and that's Jarrettson Beach. See what he was doing?
That?
What?
Where is that?
It's right by you. It's right by you.
What?
You don't know where Jarrettson Beach is?
No.
God.
Manhattan Beach?
No, Jarrettson Avenue.
Oh, yeah. It's by Marine Park, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's on the other side of the canal. So yeah, it's close enough. Yeah.
Oh, I see it.
It's like the whitest neighborhood ever. Okay. And that's the one neighborhood he mentions.
Well,
he could have said Manhattan Beach. Property
could have
there is
said
like $4 million.
He could have said Greenpoint, but he knows that the socialists in Greenpoint have no problem with this.
Prospect Park.
Yeah. He goes to the most
Flatbush. All right, let's see if how long is this going to drag?
I mean, this is epic. This is probably the most epic one. This is ridiculous.
Fucking clown, dude.
That would be bad.
Oh, excuse me, Governor, I also would like to say that to mi gente, oye, wear a
Oh
mask.
my God.
Oh
Please.
God.
The numbers in our communities are staggering. This is not a joke. This is not a hoax. This is real. This is real deal Holyfield. So please, mi gente, love each other and love yourself.
That's what we're
What?
at. Like when the doctor prescribes antibiotics, he says take the whole prescription, and if you stop, whatever you came in there for is going to come back worse. So social distancing is what was the prescription, and we need to take the whole dose, or else it's going to get worse.
Oh Jesus.
You're gonna die.
Now that wasn't the script. This wasn't the script. These two have a script. This isn't being shot from the hip. This is a script.
Yeah, they got their papers. Rosey was clearly reading from it at the beginning.
Yeah, look at him. He's sitting there with papers underneath him.
Yeah.
Reading from a
Rosey
script.
had her head down. When she first started talking, she was clear. It wasn't, I mean, look, whatever. If you're up there giving a speech at a press conference, I get it. You want to have some talking points. That doesn't even bother me. But you can't pretend that, oh my God, this makes my head hurt.
Well, first
How
of
much
all, they're
paper does Chris
actors. Wait,
Rock
hold on,
need?
hold on. First of all, they're actors. They're able to memorize lines right away. So don't even give me that whole talking points thing. Chris Rock can do like a 4-hour show with
Yeah.
no papers. So she can do the same thing. They're actors. They are literally paid to memorize lines. So they shouldn't have those papers in general.
Well, they do. They do. And she was clearly reading from it, almost
agree.
as though they just kind of made it up this morning. I don't know.
Like it was her time to chime in. Real deal Holyfield, mi gente, wear a mask. And then Chris Rock has his line just beautifully set up. We've got to take the whole prescription or it's going to get worse. This is straight up propaganda. This is
It really is.
straight up propaganda.
And I think that's why he's doing this every single day. I mean, dude, what's new from yesterday? We've seen this basically Cuomo say the same thing every day, and now he's got 2 guest stars. Like, you don't have to beat it into people every single day. Do it twice a week, bro. Do it when something changes. That's what I'm trying to like.
Because he made it a
likes to see
reality show. It's a reality show for him.
Exactly. I think he likes to just see himself on TV.
Yeah.
But it's pure politics, right? It's like we said yesterday. These people will create these problems and then sell you the solution. Like, dude, you killed the entire economy, and now you're saying I'm going to make a law to make sure that people rehire their workers. You created that problem, bro, and now you're going to create a law to fix the problem that you created.
And then what scares me is we're talking about Chris Rock and Rosey Perez coming out and having a script. Well, these PowerPoint presentations that Cuomo has, do you think he goes there and sits with the secretary and says, this is how it's going to go? Or does somebody tell him how it's going to go? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, but I think you brought up a great point yesterday is that he will sit down with his team and discuss every single negative issue that they might be able to find on social media. Make sure he mentions that, but on a completely, they'll say, well, they're going to really hit you on this nursing home thing, Cuomo, so be prepared for it. And then he says, oh, well, that was Trump's fault in the CDC. So he comes out prepared. He's like the opposite side of the coin of, Kayleigh McEnany, right? She comes out prepared. She's got all of her list of articles and stuff that the media's done that's been completely wrong. Cuomo's just doing the exact same thing from the other side, right? That's kind of how I'm thinking about it, but
All right.
it's absolutely infuriating.
Let's go back to the propaganda machine. This is disgusting. Epically disgusting.
So true. So well said. And look, it is a new thing, right?
A new thing.
This
The
wear a
common
mask
cold.
thing. It's just a couple of months when you think about it. Nobody heard about it before that. You'd watch TV once in a while, you'd see people in China wearing masks, but nobody did it here, right? So it is introducing a whole new concept to people. And it's not only making it okay, it's making it not okay to not wear a mask. Not wearing a mask is not okay.
And what are you going to do? What is he gonna do?
Snitch
What
on
the-
people.
What is this guy gonna do to me if I don't wear a goddamn China mask? What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do?
Nothing.
What is he
Nothing.
gonna
He's
do?
gonna do nothing. He's gonna do nothing. Like I do not wear a mask. That's my choice. I live right next to a police station. They don't care.
I was on the train. I
I
was on
will-
the one train, less than 6 feet away from a police officer. His gun was right in my face. I looked right up at him, gave him a nod, and then he kept talking. It's over, dude. On the train, on the one train.
Yeah, but he's bringing back the propaganda machine. And he just had Chris Rock set it up. I realize that we live in 50 different countries.
Okay,
and
so let
he
me ask you
signed that bill in October where the president can't even pardon us. He has the majority. He's going to be able to push in a mask law so fast.
He's
not gonna get it. He's not. I'm telling you, in order for him to get it, to get a law passed through the assembly and everything, he's not gonna get it. It's not gonna happen. Upstate will go
what is his
crazy.
goal, though? What is the goal? So, okay, now you wear a mask forever, just for the rest of your life. When you leave the house,
At 95 degrees. At 95 degrees. Like it was almost 90 the other day.
Submission.
But so, is there any end in sight? Okay, we're gonna wear a mask until fall. Oh, we're gonna wear a mask until New Year's. We're gonna wear a mask until St. Patty's Day. It's like, oh no, just you gotta wear a mask now. Shut up and put your mask on for the rest of your life. When you leave the house,
you got to put on a mask for the rest of my life.
This is insane. All right,
this guy is worse than Fidel Castro. I really think because he's good. I'm telling you, he's going to start taking media political prisoners. He's going to start taking us prisoner. He already divided us from the rest of the country, so we don't even have constitutional rights anymore.
Don't you think it would be a little bit more reasonable to just say, hey, guys, I think the mask help. It would be great if you wear one. I think that would be a little bit better strategy than being, you are a bad person. It is not okay to not wear a mask. No, dude, I'm not.
Yeah.
You get more bees with honey than vinegar, right? You can't berate somebody into and you see it. People are doing it. They're all around Flatbush, wearing them down below their chin, smoking cigarettes. You know, it's like they wear them as this submission necklace. They're not even on the face anymore. They're wearing them around their chins, just so you know that they got the memo. Like, yeah, okay, I submit. I'm not doing it, dude. And that's why I personally, if I have to go to the grocery store, I even would use a scarf just because it made me feel better. Because I could wear a scarf, pull it down, and nobody says anything. I walk the opposite way down every single aisle just because I'm, probably a little stoned and I don't care about those damn arrows, but it's insanity.
I mean, how for these environmentalist Democrat wackos, how environmentally friendly are these masks? Can you start producing them out of hemp at least? Anyway,
they're everywhere. I told you yesterday I'm working on compiling a couple of Instagram highlights of the garbage that's all around because I've been seeing them everywhere, the gloves, the mask, everywhere. And it's like, dude, so you guys went from we're not even going to give you a plastic bag because you need to bring your own because that's for the environment, to now you're throwing away these disposables everywhere. The gloves,
and
they're
possibly contaminated, so don't forget that.
Exactly, right? This virus is deadly. It's super deadly. You just toss it out the window of your car. You don't have to dispose of it properly. Just toss it out the window of your car. It'll land on the sidewalk. And the bums even wearing them. Dude, I saw this guy, come on, you guys know the bums, right? Where their feet and their legs are all swollen up. And they have these like scabs and sores and just all sorts of nasty, I don't know if it's from alcohol or drugs or whatever.
Diabetes, most likely.
It looks almost like a clubfoot
scabies and shit too. Like
this guy down near City Hall Park. I was just wandering around downtown the other day, and I saw this guy with both of his pants leg pulled up because he needs to like air out his scabs, and he's wearing a mask as though his legs aren't about to rot completely off. I just don't understand it. It's a brain worm. They've gotten into these people, so they think that it's best for you to wear a mask around your neck while you smoke cigarettes and put a mask on your face as your legs are rotting off because the television told you that a virus is coming to get you and that the air is dangerous. I can't, dude.
Oh God. legs rotting off. That's so gross.
Dude,
It's so real. It happens. You like you look at it and it freaks you out on the subway.
It
It's just
did. I couldn't
absolutely
even take a
disgusting.
picture of it. It was
And,
so-
and you
it
would
was
think
so
they would
gross.
have started disinfecting the subways a long time ago with those like no-legged people crawling around on the subway floor and everything. Oh my God. Oh, bleh. Okay.
And that has to be the culture, and that has to be the attitude. It's not okay if you don't wear a mask. It's not.
He's doing the same thing that guy from Rhode Island, the mayor from Rhode Island said. You make sure you yell at people that do not wear masks. He's about to say
Exactly.
something like that.
So does that sound familiar? Almost like the MAGA hat. Just you can make any assumption based on what somebody is or is not wearing. Right? You don't. What if this guy has asthma? What if, you know what I mean? There's a number of things that. What if,
In order to protect people, you have to dispose of the mask every time you come in contact with another person. That's nursing 101. It's on the CDC's website. By you wearing a mask and coming through 100 people, 20 people, you just took their germs and you breathed it in. You have to dispose of PPE when you come in direct contact with one person. By you wearing a mask, how many people do you come? Let's say you're going in the subway. How many people do you come in contact with?
I mean, recently it's obviously not that much. Not quite as many people are riding.
In
the
general,
subway.
let's just say 20.
Yeah, 15, 20, 25 maybe.
Okay. So you just took on their germs. You're breathing it in. You didn't change your mask. You're going to wear it the whole day. No, but honestly, this is what I'm talking, because I'm in nursing school. I asked my professors that. I'm like, you're telling me to wear a mask. I do not have the money to wear a mask every time I come in contact with another person. I can't switch it. You're telling me to wear a bandana. That's even worse. It's common sense. And they can't answer my questions for me, but that's common sense.
They want you to buy a 100-pack of masks and take and.
No,
And
they
then
don't
it
even
gets
explain it to you.
And
They
then it
don't
gets a little
explain it to you.
moist. Things collect to the moisture, and then you're literally like a vacuum sucking things in as you're breathing in air extra heavy through a mask. And basically what Linda's saying is he is creating more of the virus. He's creating more sickness. And I think what that does is that coincides a lot to what she was saying to me last night about how they closed down all the doctor's offices.
Not all, 80%.
80%. They shut down 80% of the doctor's offices. So everyone that was sick, everyone that had ailments couldn't be seen, couldn't be kept on top of them, couldn't be doing any of that. Go take it away. I mean, you understand this better than I do, Linda.
Well, I don't know. You guys were talking about it, but basically, like 2 months ago, he was pushing the whole telecom bullshit. How doctors will get paid. You can teleconference with them. Just a question for everyone. If you have diabetes, how can you telecom your doctor? You need to have your blood pressure check. You need to have your respiratory check. I mean, it's endless. Who's going to do it for you? And those people still haven't seen that doctor, or they're dead, but they still haven't seen their doctor. I have pre-existing conditions. I cannot see my doctor.
I know somebody very close to me that has a hernia sticking out of their stomach like this big. It needs to be taken care of right away. They just got insurance and they're just getting ready, and they just had an appointment in March to get their hernia taken care of. You know what they did for this person instead? They brought them into a clinic and injected them with aspirin, ibuprofen. And isn't ibuprofen like the worst thing you could possibly have during this corona thing?
I don't know.
That's true, right? There's truth to that, right?
Well, it depends on the person, your immune system.
I mean, this is all they could offer. They couldn't give the person the hernia operation. That's not essential.
No,
Their
no,
intestines
because-
are about to
Yes,
clog up.
That's what we were talking about
Just
yesterday.
corona.
Cancer patients, what happened? Because I know they stopped radiation treatment for cancer patients. I know that 100%. Where are those cancer patients that were on radiation? Where are they?
I don't know.
New Jersey is the capital
Gotta take my
of
sweatshirt
cancer treatments in the world. Where are those patients?
I don't know. Maybe they escaped to Florida in time. I don't know. They're probably dead, buried in Hart Island, where you can't even do an autopsy on them and find anything out anymore.
No, people
They
died
lit-
of this. I know people. I have 5 neighbors that died because of this crap. I told you that yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, this is no joke what this guy's doing. This is absolutely no joke. Let's go back to the Satan. Let's see what Satan has to say now.
Okay for you to jeopardize my health.
You're still okay.
It's right for you to jeopardize your health, but that's your health. And by the way, you jeopardize your health. You also jeopardize the health of your family when you go home and whoever else you're interacting with, but you don't have a right to jeopardize my health. So it is, as Rosey said, it's respect, it's civic duty, it's humanity. It is New York. You know,
What?
New York.
New York is 19 million people.
Used to be
Who
20.
start with the premise we can all live together in a very close area, right?
No.
Part of that acknowledgement is we're going to respect one another and we're going to respect each other's space. And we're going to respect each other's air to respecting each other's space, right? We're going to respect each other's air. Wear a mask. Thank you, Rosey. Thank you, Chris. Questions?
Governor, I want to get the status on this bill.
Now, when he says respect each other's air and the mask, you know that combustion fuels are gone, right? You know that the natural gas boilers are gone. I think that the cars on the road are gone. The Green New Deal. You want to predict the future. You want to invest in stocks. You want to tell your kids to get any sort of job. Just take a good long look at the Green New Deal, because that's exactly what's happening.
The mayor is seeking.
I just don't understand how he. No, let it play. It doesn't matter.
$7 billion he wants in borrowing. My understanding is, you probably know, the bill was laid aside by the Assembly. Is your sense that something can be negotiated here? Like, would you like to see the city come up with an austerity plan, perhaps enact the Financial Control Board to have some controls, or would you rather just not see this bill pass now?
I haven't had any serious conversations with the legislature on it, but you'd have to have serious conversations, right? The first question is, how much aid do we get from Washington? That we're working on. That's why I was there yesterday. That's what I was making the point against state and local aid. What does the state get? What do the local governments get? What does the city get? After you find out what that fact is, what's the shortfall, and what are you going to do about it? Borrowing for operating expenses is a risky proposition, and it has to be done with caution, if at all, because now you're really rolling the dice on future revenues. And the reason the state has to be concerned, and I think the Senate, I spoke to some senators, state senators, who frankly were very smart about this, and they were talking about the history. Look, we've been through this. When you have a local government that basically goes bankrupt, the state has to step in and then puts in a financial control board. We went through this with Erie County, where there's a financial control board. We went through it with Nassau County, where there's a control board. Yonkers, there's a control board. New York City, we went through this situation in the 70s, where New York City was basically bankrupt. The state had to step in. So first question is, how much money do we get from Washington?
That's what destroyed the state. And upstate New York has been a shithole ever since the 70s, basically, completely fallen apart, getting gutted. It wasn't just NAFTA. And the reason why we can't get upstate people to come down to the city and protest with us is because they want to separate from, they want to separate.
Secede.
From,
They want to secede. They want to have upstate.
so bad. They're so obsessed with it, but they don't understand that we could be their biggest allies.
I told them that.
We're
It
their
took you
biggest
guys
allies.
2 months, 2 days. It took us 2 days.
Not only that, we hate these guys just as much as you do. We agree with you. I'm from upstate. I understand. I want to help you succeed. We want to take down Cuomo. Why don't you fight with us? But it's all right, because you know what? you know, the more the merrier, but we're going to keep going. We're just going to keep going. So it's all right. It's all right. Let's listen to this prick some more.
Hopefully they do the semi-responsible thing.
Semi-responsible.
But the second question is going to be, once you know what the Washington funding is going to be, how do you make up the shortfall? And there will be a shortfall. But that's a very serious conversation, because making up the shortfall is forcing you to estimate future revenues. When does the economy come back for New York City? 6 months,
Never.
9 months, a year,
Never.
18 months,
Never.
2 years?
Never.
And that's a challenging conversation at best. So I don't know. I think the legislature and I think the Senate did the responsible thing.
They would have to do it now. In other words, they're scheduled to go out of session, as you know. Presumably they could come back in September or earlier than that. Would you rather see it taken up then when we know what happens?
Well, they want to know what happens with Washington because they're in the same position with the state budget, right? I haven't made any state budget decisions because I want to see what happens with the Washington funding before you get to step 2. Finish step 1, then go to step 2. What's my state budget going to look like? I can tell you what it looks like if I don't get funding from Washington. 20% cut on schools, 20% cut on hospitals, 20% cut on local governments. But let's see what happens with Washington. And we haven't done that with the legislature, so I think it's the same for the Nassau budget or New York City budget or Erie budget.
Can you clarify exactly what is the guidance now to get tested? Is it asymptomatic and also symptomatic? And are you talking about antibody testing or the testing for when you're ill? And then can I ask you a second follow-up? Why wasn't the mayor here today? When was the last time you talked to him directly? Don't you think that getting on the same page with him would help clarify?
I want to just say I was watching the mayor this morning, and what the mayor was doing was the mayor was reinforcing his contact tracer strategy. And basically he was telling us that the contact tracers are just going to be like census. They're going to be going out, they're going to be going out and they're going to be knocking on your doors. They're going to be asking you questions. They're going to ask you, did you get tested? Do you have a positive result? Did you have a negative result? And if you didn't,
so it sounds like a complete waste of money, just like the testing facility. What are these people not understanding? Everything that look, it's over. We did it. All right. Like
we self-quarantined for like 3 months.
Yeah.
The people aren't dying anymore. Congratulations. If they just hung their hat on this, they would be in pretty good shape.
But they just won't let it go.
Say it from the beginning. They will never take their foot off the gas. Not once. They will not take their foot off the gas.
No matter if the CDC comes out and flip-flops again, no matter if Fauci says the lockdowns are damaging, no matter what happens, no matter how many doctors get censored off Instagram, no matter how many doctors in California say that this doesn't really make sense, no matter how many protests happen on Long Island, they're just going to keep saying, we're doing it for your safety, guys. You're too stupid to make a decision for yourself. What am I missing here? How are they not getting the same memo as everybody else? And they just keep going, well, you're probably going to die soon if you don't do exactly as I say. And also, I need more money from Trump and the feds. They're ruining us. It's all their fault. Look, they should give us more money, guys. Like, what planet are these people on? And actually, I shouldn't even ask that because I know they live in a completely different elitist political world. The people who are buying this, what planet are they on? What planet are the people who are saying, I'm going to go buy 100-pack of masks and 100-pack of gloves. I'm going to go get tested. I'm going to go get the antibody test. I'm going to get the vaccine. Cuomo knows what's best for me. De Blasio's a smart guy. Where are those people and what planet are they on? That's
college, corporate jobs, union jobs. Ultimately, Cuomo is their manager. Cuomo is their boss. Sorry, sir. That's what my supervisor says.
This is insane.
I don't even believe what I'm writing. This is what my professor wants me to do. These are the things I need to cite. I need to just hurry up and get this paper done by like 1 o'clock in the morning so I can go to sleep.
And if we go back to yesterday's press conference, when one of the reporters asked him about the nursing home situation, of course, and he flipped it and blamed the nursing homes. Like, think about that. He signed the executive order and then said, well, yeah, I signed the order, but if they weren't equipped to take a COVID patient, then they shouldn't have taken a COVID patient. Why will that line of thinking not work for every business across the state? Well, I'm just not equipped anymore. You told me to stand up to you. He literally told the nursing homes that, well, if you couldn't do it, you should have said something. It's like, well,
They did. They did. They
Okay,
called
so-
Mark Levine right after his executive order on the 26th. The Wall Street Journal published an article. No one picked it up. They did.
Okay, so that makes it even worse then. That makes it even worse. So for him to say, this is the executive order, you need to do it. And then for him to say, well, you should have stood up if you couldn't do it.
They
And then to
couldn't
actually
reach
have
the
people-
DHS.
But
They
to
couldn't
actually
reach
have
it.
people stand up. So if what you're saying is true, right? And some nursing homes said, whoa, we can't do this. What happened to those nursing homes?
Nothing. They couldn't reach the DHS. They had to take in the patients. I'll send you.
So he's lying on multiple levels. So he's even saying that they should have stood up, and then the people that did actually stand up, he still denied. So he's wrong on all accounts.
He's trying to cover up his ass.
Oh my God, this is disgusting. Let's see if anybody has more good questions.
The most infuriating thing is that these people that vote for this guy and follow his suit, the people of, you're asking what planet they are on.
Yeah.
They know that this guy purposely killed people in nursing homes.
And
They
still
know
killing.
it.
He's still killing
They
people.
know it. And they don't give a shit. As long as they don't get in trouble, as long as they look good, as long as they can climb their bureaucratic ladder and get a better social credit score, they don't give a shit that this guy's murdering old people.
It's not just old people. It's not just old people. It's minorities and old people. It's minorities and old people. Nobody cares at all.
So if it's minorities and old people, he's been on the stump for the past 2 months talking about we got to save the most vulnerable, the communities of color. So he's been saying that for 2 months, and those are still the people, and he's not doing anything about it.
We were talking about this with Daniel last night about who's really in a nursing home in New York City. New York City, most people live with HHAs, home health care providers. They have their own apartments and they have a home health aide come in. The people that are in nursing home, most of the people are either very poor, have no family, or have a family that doesn't care about them. That's the majority. I live next to 2 nursing homes. Unfortunately, that's the majority of the people that are in the nursing homes. He didn't care about those people.
But so he's literally just projecting the opposite of everything he's doing. So, we need to protect the most vulnerable. Meanwhile, literally doing the exact opposite.
And this is what happened. This is what happened. Since they've developed this war on poverty, social welfare, great society thing, well, entitlements and all that stuff, they figured out, oh, people are sick, people are poor, we make money off of them. All of a sudden, when they're socially engineering the Corona bona disaster, where they already had all these stimuluses and federal grants and all these price margins for if people die to the hospitals already in place, they realized, oh, well, the prisons aren't as profitable to put them in there, although they're really profitable. The mental institutions, the drug rehabs, we can make a quick 30 thou if we just kill them. That's what they did in this country. And the people that are on the planet to back Cuomo, they know in the back of their minds, because they're not stupid, it was more profitable for these scumbags that run the government to kill old people and minorities than it was to keep them on their little prison planet. And they're still going to.
Speaking of killing, I'm gonna take a hard left here. I think Joe Biden and the Democratic establishment is responsible for what happened in Minneapolis. That's a completely different story, but just food for thought. Only 2 days after he says you ain't black, now Uncle Joe.
But it's not the first time he said it. It's not the first time he said it. He did a rally like years ago. He would lock him out of chains. I don't remember the exact words.
Yeah, of course. But the timing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's insane, but that's for another discussion.
But Biden is the worst, and just like Ronald Reagan didn't really want George W. Bush as his running mate, I'm not about to give any credit to Obama, but I don't even think Obama wanted Joe Biden as his running mate.
I think Obama knew he's on record even early saying, Joe, you don't have to do this, because he knew that if Joe Biden ran for president, he was going to be implicated and it was going to tarnish his legacy. He knew that coming a mile away. He waited until no other candidates. He waited until his right-hand man for a minimum of 8 years, not even talking about campaigning or anything, a minimum of 8 years. He didn't come out and say, yeah, man, that's my friend. He's going to make a great president. He waited until everybody was gone and said, yeah, Joe Biden, yeah, he's a good guy. Because he knew that when people start to dig it, it was all going to backfire on him.
I think Biden is the creep master. The sniff master's the creep master. No, he threw stink on every single person, and every single person can go down with a felony that Biden came across him with. And that's why they're backing Biden.
I think he's not doing anything now. His brain has already melted away. So anything that happens now is just a result of his handlers. Now, maybe a decade ago, he might have still been coherent and knew what was going on and could do some shady things. But now he's literally just weekend at Biden's. He doesn't know what's going on.
All right. We got to get, and this Biden being a disaster and the Trump impeachment is all distraction as they ram down this Green New Deal Marxism for America right now. So we got to check into their operatives, this top operative here in Corona Bona Ground Zero, Andrew Evil Eyes Cuomo.
For New Yorkers, what the guidance is.
Yes, first we're on totally the same page because it's only one page. I don't know where you see different pages, right? There's state guidelines, period. And that's it. So there's only one page. So you can't be on a different page when you only have one page. The mayor has his schedule. I have my schedule. I talk to him all the time. So, but there's only one page.
And the guidance on testing, just
The guidance on testing is on the website, but it's now so broad. It's if you have any symptoms, which are basically flu-like symptoms, so if you cough, you sneeze, you have a fever, any symptoms, you're exposed to a person who was COVID, you're an essential worker, frontline worker, healthcare worker, you're going to be in a retail store where you may be open to the public, it's virtually open.
Asymptomatic people are still not being recommended.
Well, asymptomatic who, if you're an essential worker or you're at a retail store, then yes.
And guess what?
The president yesterday to talk about infrastructure. One of the things that came up was the fast-tracking LaGuardia Air Train. Did you also talk about fast-tracking congestion pricing at the DOT? Not, why not?
We've talked about that issue. I was talking about primarily job-creating activities yesterday. So LaGuardia Air Train would create jobs, also create an air train, which we need. The Cross Harbor Tunnels creates jobs, et cetera. So we were focusing on job creation. 2nd Avenue subway, which is in Manhattan, goes up 2nd Avenue. Congestion pricing we've spoken about a number of times. That's not necessarily a job creator, but it is very important for the city and the state, and it requires a federal sign-off that we're still waiting for.
That we better.
Yesterday, I mean,
Trump better not give that to us.
I've spoken to him about that.
Hold on, I got
But yesterday, there was a discussion on different topics,
Eric?
which is job.
No, I gotta make a quick phone call.
Okay.
In terms of the executive order, why the decision on the executive order? Are you concerned about conflicts that arise when a store owner says, keep out?
Yeah. Yeah, you could have, it's New York. You can have a conflict if you say good morning, right? So, but you have a private store owner. It's a private store. He's the store owner. He, by executive order, has the right to say, if you're not wearing a mask, you can't come in. You don't have a right to expose the store owner to a virus. Wow. You don't have that constitutional right. Wow. You don't have a right to expose the other patrons in the store to the virus. You don't have a right to walk into a store and cause all the other patrons to run out because you're wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. You don't have that right. So, yeah, could somebody complain to the store owner? I think I should have the right to come in, even though I don't have a mask.
Wow.
Somebody can say that. That person would be wrong, but they could say it.
Yeah, two questions. The first is, how much of a heads up will New York City get before we're reopening? Will it be like, all right, well, New York City will open in 2 days, for instance? And the other question is, do you have any thoughts on what's going on in Minneapolis right now?
We talk to the city multiple times a day, so and we have one set of state numbers and guidelines and metrics, et cetera. So we're all watching the same numbers, et cetera. So there's no surprise because we're literally in constant contact. I think the situation was so disturbing and ugly and frightening. It was just frightening that a law enforcement officer anywhere in this country.
Oh, Jesus, here he goes. Here he goes. Here he goes. Guys, how long? 12 years, right? 12 years as governor, right? Eric Gardner. How long was he attorney general for in New York? He was attorney general for a while.
That's a good question.
Cuomo. I think he was attorney general for at least 4 years. His father was the governor. Think of all the horrific, Abner Louima, all the horrific, just
recently what de Blasio did the last 2 weeks, they targeted minority communities. They
Yeah.
targeted my community. They were beating the crap
Yeah.
out of everybody.
just the culture of the NYPD himself and the legacy that the Cuomo family has on New York State and New York City as authoritarians, just the culture itself, the fact that this guy still hasn't even legalized weed and how punitive they are and how he's demanding that we get congestion pricing so he could fine us for driving into the city. Oh my God, now he's going to gaslight us and he's going to go after the police to win over the minorities that he's killing, because there's like 30,000 a pop in it for the system and his donors to get off of killing people.
So did he mention anything about the end of the pause? I mean, today's the 28th. It's supposed to be over today. Did we hear one word about that?
His executive order has effect till September. He has power till September.
Of course, but the pause, look, there's loads of clauses or whatever, but there's no way that he's going to lock down the entire state until September. The executive...
Newsom's doing it.
The NY pause executive order ends today. State of emergency in place through June 13th. Did he mention anything about that? I mean, today is the day that the pause is supposed to end.
The pause is supposed to end in September.
That's not true. The executive order is not the pause is part of the executive order.
Yeah.
But the pause will not go through September. That won't happen. I will jump off the roof of
But Newsom's doing it. Newsom is keeping Cali locked down till September. He said it.
That's not true either. That's not true. Eric Garcetti, the mayor of Los Angeles, has made some outrageous remarks. But Gavin Newsom is not keeping. Even Gavin Newsom and Elon Musk had a discussion, and now the Tesla plant is open in Fremont, California.
Yeah, just the Tesla plant, though.
But if
Gavin Newsom's not being that bad because he's allowing towns in California to open up.
Exactly.
I'm not going to defend Gavin Newsom or Californians, but this whole thing's being ran through Cuomo, man. Let's not get distracted. Whatever his reopening is, whatever his clauses are, whatever it is, he's moving the goalpost on them right now, which you're trying to point out. This guy,
that's what I'm saying. Did he mention anything about it?
No.
On pause, executive order ends to, I'm reading this from WKBW Buffalo. Headline, NY pause executive order ends today. State of emergency in place through June 13th. So did he clarify any of this stuff? And I guess we didn't watch every single minute of it yet, but You would think that would be a
I-
huge talking point on the day that the pause is supposed to end. You might want to address that, but instead he brought out two washed-up Hollywood celebrities.
I think it's about time we get ourselves some press passes and take turns going into City Hall in New York City and going to City Hall, going up to the Capitol building, and me and you start asking these guys these questions. I think that's what it's time
words have never
for.
been spoken.
I got arrested for asking questions. I'm not doing that.
But how do you get the pass? You got to just apply for the pass.
Well, you gotta show. So like if you show that you reported on like more than 3 stories, which, you know, you got footage of City Hall, you got footage of, you know, the SARS parking lot down there. And I'm sure you have footage of something else. If you want to go over, the UN supposedly got rid of all their flags. I'm going to go check that out, see if that's BS or not.
What if, can you use, like, if I have articles published in like an independent news outlet, does that work?
I mean, listen, just look at the application. It doesn't even look that hard. Boom, bam, bing. I don't know if the offices are closed now, but what we need to do is we need to get press passes, and we need to get in to City Hall, and we need to get into the governor's office, and the White House.
Do you know that he's very
and we
selective?
need to be asking these people questions.
He won't let you in.
He won't let you in, but we need to.
And you also
it.
notice De Blasio. If you follow De Blasio's Instagram, he does these little Instagram TV videos where he's pretending to answer questions. It's like, dude, you cherry picked a question that you liked so you could read it on your Instagram, and you think people are buying this? Like, that's not a live interaction. That's not somebody sitting across the table from you and being like, why did you say this? Why did you do this? What is your plan? That is a cherry picked question. It might not even be real for all we know. It's just him standing in front of his Instagram and just being like, well, we got a great question from Kelly out in
De Blasio had a press conference, like a town hall at Hunter College 2 years ago, about addressing the Amazon deal. So I went there, right? It was to the gym at Hunter College. I went there. Of course, you have to go through all these metal detectors because God forbid, you know, what am I'm going to hug de Blasio when they see him, they assume, because he's doing such a great job, right? To go through all these metal detectors. So I go there, and it's going to be this Amazon thing. And I can't wait to ask my question. De Blasio, we are going to have a special election for public advocate. Why don't you just put Amazon on the ballot and let us vote on it instead of having town halls on it? I was going to ask him this question, but it was Powers. I forget his name. There's a city councilman. His last name is Powers. Would stand in front of de Blasio and pick out of the crowd who he was going to ask questions. And it was blatantly only people de Blasio knew. There was only one question asked about Amazon. I had to get up and start yelling at him and get kicked out of there in order to say anything. This guy de Blasio, he's such a, and then Jumaane Williams. There's no getting through to Jumaane Williams. I had a personal conversation with him. I said, I'm not getting vaccinated. I said, you got to investigate 5G. They're putting it on nursing homes. These people aren't consenting to this. And then he said, wear a mask. He's told me to wear a mask. I told him, Jumaane, I can't wear a mask. He's like, why not? It's safe. I was like, if the government is making me do something, I physically cannot do it.
Why though? If you look back at all of this, right? If you think about it, they didn't implement this mask nonsense until at least 5 or 6 weeks in. You would have thought early on they were telling people don't wear a mask. Fauci and the CDC and Jerome Adams said don't wear a mask. It wasn't until 6 weeks in that they said now it's mandatory. Now you have to. If you don't have a mask, just use a t-shirt. Yeah,
they couldn't keep that curfew going anymore. They couldn't do this. They couldn't do that. So they had to pin us down with something. They had to pin us, like basically after 5-6 weeks, they were losing control. So they needed to find a new means of control. It's sick. Let's start to wrap this up though. I want to see a couple more talking points. Did you see any other guest celebrities come on, or he's just getting questions? So let's find out what these questions are. And this is just infuriating. This is like, it's like therapy, going back into your childhood and crying, subjecting yourself to listen to this guy. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That way, especially after everything we've learned. You know, sometimes you say, you rationalize in your own mind, well, this is terrible, but we'll learn from it. How many times do we have to learn the same lesson? I mean, we went through it in New York. We had the Garner case in New York. It's happened all across the country. How many times do you have to learn the same lesson? And look, a prosecutor will do the case. I was a prosecutor. I was the attorney general. I don't prejudge a case. Maybe there are facts that I don't know. But I'll tell you, if I was a prosecutor, I would be looking at that case from the first.
He was the attorney general, though. While he was attorney general, it wasn't until 2018. Do you guys know about the Anna Chambers story?
No.
Do you know the Anna Chambers story? You might know her personally, might not want to comment. Anna Chambers, little suspect on who she was, all right? She might have been like a little floozy. But she was smoking a blunt in the park, okay? And two cops walked up to her, and they're like, all right, we're arresting you. And they are banging her like hard in the back of the van all the way to the police station. So Anna, when she got to central booking, was like, yeah, I need a rape kit. And because it's the Me Too movement, they slid her out and they gave her a rape kit. So they gave her a rape kit. It proved that she like had sex with the cops. Whether it was rape or not is a completely different story. Okay. Cuomo in March 2018, it was presented to him to change a law that said that cops were able to have sex with people that they arrest as long as it was consensual. He's saying he was attorney general, and he's saying that he was in office for 2 terms already, and he didn't change the law. As far as I'm concerned, he's completely null and void and has no ability to speak about any sort of policing or any issues because he was attorney general. I got to see what years he was attorney general and rattle off every single police brutality case that came across him and him not doing anything about it.
And this is from the same guy who has now deleted his own executive order from the website because he got a little backlash about the nursing home. Same guy.
The murderer. This guy is epic, man. He is epic. Let's go back. Sorry, there's just so much trauma from Cuomo that as soon as he starts talking, I could go on for a half hour of every little thing he says.
Because I think there's a criminal case there.
Easy for you to say about a cop in Minnesota.
Anything, Rosey, Chris?
Governor,
Luis?
you said that you were waiting on clarity from the federal government for federal funding before making any decisions on state budget cuts. But as you wait, which could be a while, has the state taken any measures to control spending, whether it be hiring freezes, not renewing contracts, delaying payments?
Yes, all of the above. All of the above. Look, whatever the federal government does, there's still going to be a shortfall, right? Well, let me take that back. Maybe the federal government becomes enlightened and responsible and actually funds the amount necessary to close the gap, which would be smart and right. But if they don't do that, there'll be a shortfall. We're preparing for a shortfall and reducing expenses all across the board.
Creating a
And
shortfall.
just to add to that, the governor did do an order, and I believe it was at the end of March when everything first started happening. We did an across-the-board hiring freeze. We asked our labor brothers and sisters to forego the increases in their salaries that were guaranteed by their contracts, which they all agreed to do, and that includes the 2% increase for management confidential workers. So we have taken those steps.
Include layoffs? And the second question, because that's just a follow-up to his, have you been following the city's plans to reopen, like restaurants putting tables outside, the stock exchange telling employees not to take mass transit? So what are your thoughts on those plans, and do you think that those are going in the right direction?
Yeah, let me just a follow-up question, still a question. So it was still 2, but that's okay.
Thanks.
I like that though. Follow, that's why it's New York City. We haven't done any layoffs. We hope not to do any layoffs. And again, we have to see what Washington does because everything will be a factor of that. In terms of opening guidelines for businesses, they are set. You can find them on the website. They apply to every business across the state. It's one set of rules. There are no different rules for New York City than there are for Buffalo, than there are for Albany. I want to be able to say to every New Yorker, I believe it is safe to reopen. I believe it's safe for my kids. I believe it's safe for your kids. And we don't change what is safe from one place to another. So there are no different rules for New York City.
What?
Dude,
Why has Niagara Falls opened and we haven't?
it doesn't make sense though. They're too New York. Look, how could you even pretend?
You know why he's
that
saying? You know why he's saying this? Because that's the suit. That's the suit. Because he has disparities in each region of New York State. Because he treats New York. That's the suit. I'm telling you, that's the suit.
How is he going to pretend that New York City is not way different from Binghamton? Like,
how is he going to say, after all the shit he just pulled, that he believes it's safe? And how long has he believed it's safe for?
This is insane, dude. This is insane.
And by the way, did you see Rosey get a bottle of water from that guy and drink it with her gloves? But he didn't have any gloves on. Let me say.
It's all show. It's ridiculous. But I mean, the lying and the gaslighting, it's like he knows he's getting paid to lie and gaslight us and make us feel good as he does it. And it's pure theater.
Transit, is there a threshold that the MTA thinks of amount of riders that's safe? And what is the plan to reopen public transit? Temperature checks, reserved rides, and what will you do budget-wise without congestion pricing?
Yeah, the budget is going to be a problem, but the federal government, part of the funding from Washington is for the MTA, right? That has nothing to do with congestion pricing. And the MTA is going to have a full reopening plan. Socially distancing on buses, subways is not really that possible. That's why the reopening is gauged to metrics on the drop in the virus, because you can't.
The subways are
open. But the numbers, I don't trust anything he says. So if he can talk, he can report numbers. I just principally do not trust him. Because he's just holding this stuff up. Well, they made up all these random metrics. Well, we need to have 14 days of lower percentage and 7 days of ER decline and 102,000 3.4 tracers. It's just all arbitrary, and it's backed by the CDC, which he even blamed for his nursing home fiasco, but continues to follow them to make policy as though they're some sort of elected policymakers, which they are not.
I need to hear what he just said again, though. Hold on.
Reserved rides, and what will you do budget-wise without congestion pricing?
Yeah, the budget is going to be a problem, but the federal government, part of the funding from Washington is for the MTA, right? That has nothing to do with congestion pricing. And the MTA is going to have a full reopening plan.
The MTA is going to have a full. When did the MTA ever close, guys?
Well, they did. They stopped it from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Okay.
And they also made it every 30 minutes. Because before it was like every 8 minutes. Now it's every 40.
Are you sure?
Yes, I live right next to one of the biggest train stations in Brooklyn.
Because I only took this train once during this Corona Bono, like 2 weeks ago. And the train, it was a G train. It came in like 9 minutes.
I've been lucky, dude.
Because the G train doesn't go halfway. It goes halfway. It starts off from Ocean.
Eric, you've been riding the subways, right?
I have.
Have you seen a massive slowdown in the subways?
I have not.
It seems like the subways are just operating, right?
I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's more people on them because he cut down the time.
I'm riding it, in the daytime, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 3, 4, 5, 6. The latest I've been on it in months is like 7 o'clock, maybe even 8 o'clock. So I don't know what's happening at night, but I've been lucky. I've only waited for the Q train for 5 minutes, the 1 train, 5 minutes. Even the G train came. I've been on the F train. I've been on the. I have not been on the 7. No, I did. I did go on the 7. I went all the way out to Flushing Meadows Park. I got on the 7. The 7 pulled right up in front of me. So I've been lucky. I'm glad it hasn't been quite so bad. I would like for the overnight service to return so I could go get turned up at a bar and get back on the MTA and go home, But speaking of, I did get a little DJ gig here coming up, so things are picking up. Little house party, so that should be fun. But fun fact, I DJ on the side. You can't see my setup here, but I got my
That's
whole.
Cool. That's cool.
That's it. On a personal note. That's a personal note.
Oh God, I don't know what to do, man. This is freaking me out.
I'm actually texting one of my friends from California just randomly. This is a girl I went to college with. I mean, more than a decade ago. And she's like, "Oh, how's everything in New York?" And I'm like, "This is awful." And I just now hit her with, I sent her like 14 pictures of the testing site, and she's like, because she's from San Francisco. She's like, "Yeah, do your part, wear your mask." And I'm like, "Nah, it's not happening." But all it takes is a little, dude. I have proof. We have the proof. Everybody just zombies to the television is like, do your part. And I'm like, no, dude, like really look into it. And her mind is being blown right now. Like, what? They're playing catch in there. They're sleeping in hammocks. Like, but the television is still telling you that everybody's dead.
All right. I'm with you 1,000%. Let's see how Cuomo closes out the final inning here. Come on, you can do it.
Socially distancing on buses, subways is not really that possible. That's why the reopening is gauged to metrics on the drop in the virus, because you can't really say to people, the virus is still raging, get back on the subway, get back on the buses. But from the cleaning to the disinfecting to stopping the hours during the night, which for a few hours the disinfected trains, which I know was controversial, but I think it was right. Those trains have never been cleaner. I think we finally have homeless people getting the care they need rather than sleeping in subway cars, which is long overdue for every New Yorker, including for the homeless. So I think that
you needed a crisis in order for you to figure out how to finally take care of your homeless? Like, I thought you're the most competent guy in the world.
He's going to play it as a victory.
Yeah, he's going to, yeah.
Have a full reopening plan ready to coincide with the economic reopening that we announced. Who didn't ask a question? Anyone didn't ask a question? Yes.
The partnership with Chris Rock and Rosey, Perez, what does that mean for New Yorkers, and what exactly are they going to be doing?
They're going to use their voice, their skill, their talent to communicate better than I have. And they're going to be doing an ad that we're going to run from New York State to communicate to New Yorkers just what they said to you today, how important it is to do the testing and wear the PPE, and how it's part of our social responsibility, and it's also smart for individuals. You want to add anything to that, Chris, Rosey?
I would just like to say that in regards to his executive order that I'm so happy to hear about authorizing private small businesses to have someone leave if they're not wearing a mask, if we can have that precedent made, it's going to lessen also the anxiety of going into a store. It's going to lessen, hopefully, the fights that are breaking out in stores when someone sees someone without a mask. It's just, there's enough fear that's going around. And wearing a mask, like we say, not just about respecting you, yourself, or your community and your fellow neighbors, but it's also respecting the store owners, and it's also decreasing the anxiety, because what's coming out of this pandemic, what a lot of people don't talk about. What the governor does talk about is also the mental illness ramifications of all of this. When you see people lose their temper inside the stores, it's just because everyone's on their last nerves. Getting tested.
Because we
don't have a job. No.
And you guys have been pumping them full of
We don't
fear.
have a
You guys have
job.
been doing nothing but pumping people full of fear. Like, of course.
Being on your last nerve is mental illness now. That's mental illness. Being on your last nerve is you're mentally ill for being on your last nerve. How, like, what is that? What you're all right. Because de Blasio's initiative and why they put away $800 billion or whatever the hell it was, $800 million, was because 1 in 5 New Yorkers are mentally ill. And if you're on your last nerve, you're obviously mentally ill. I just can't.
Distancing, washing your hands will decrease all of those anxieties. And giving the stores that authorization, I think is, I hope and pray that.
Where did her papers go?
Forward, so that we don't have to see Instagram videos of people just losing their mind.
Yeah, if I can add, Rosie's exactly right. And I share that thinking 100%. I think this will reduce conflicts. Look, it's one thing you don't wear a mask and you're walking down the sidewalk. That's one situation. You don't wear a mask and you walk into a small retail store, and now you're exposing people to you without a mask.
Oh, no.
And they're surprised by this, and they're in a smaller, confined space. That is a conflict waiting to erupt, right? So you don't want to wear a mask, stay on the sidewalk, don't socially stay within, try to stay within the social distancing guidelines. But if you go in a store and you know you're going to expose the other people, you have to wear a mask. And you're right, that's where you'll see real conflicts.
For Rosey and Chris, what do you see in your neighborhoods in terms of mask wearing?
Well, in Brooklyn, I'm seeing probably.
Where in Brooklyn?
When has this guy been to
Wear a
Brooklyn?
mask.
Get out of here.
You know, just it's the kids really aren't wearing a mask, and you know, it's sad. It's sad that it's become that our health has become, you know, a sort of political issue. You know, it's almost it's a status symbol almost to not wear a mask.
What? Wait. Can you sum that up for me? What
Did he say it was
saying?
a status symbol?
It's a status symbol to not wear a mask. Can you break that
Look,
down?
they are clearly, this is, and I talked about this yesterday on my Instagram, this is him trying to create, by saying, well, we don't want to create any conflicts. You know, it's like, dude, you were the one. Like, you guys, you could look at all these clips floating around of these fake newscasters, how they're so shocked that people aren't wearing a mask anymore. It's like, dude, you are instilling the fear in people, just like you did when you saw somebody wearing a red MAGA hat. Well, we're not saying that you should beat them up or go scream at them, but they are a stone cold racist. You can tell that just by the clothes they wear, just by the hat he has on. You know that is not a good person, and you shouldn't do anything to them. I'm not recommending you beat them over the head or anything, but they are an evil, evil person. I'm just saying. That's what they're doing here.
Can I just say something? His executive order about the small businesses not allowing a person in without a mask is complete BS, because small businesses are allowed to make up their own rules. No shirt, no service. He's literally making it. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's already on the books.
But that's because he wants everybody to be under his. He wants everything to be a government
big
job.
corporation can't do it. A small business, yes, they have rules. They can do whatever the hell they want.
No, don't listen. I love that you like to defend the Constitution, but don't pretend like the Constitution still exists when it comes to small businesses. Okay?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
They're
I'm
robbed
saying
from every day. Listen, this is what he did. He signed an executive order that says you're allowed to kick somebody out of your small business store if
Only
they do
if you're
not have a
small
mask.
business, but that's always been the rule. That's always been the rule.
I
You
mean,
know-
yeah, he didn't need that executive order,
Yeah.
but now what he's doing by making that executive order is if a retail store then has a breakout with contact tracers and that retail store was shown to not enforce a mask rule, their ass is grass. Okay. They are going to be sued.
Does this not play exactly into his statement weeks ago about if you want to go back to work, then you should take an essential job? He wants to make sure that everything is basically run by the government.
Yes. Yes.
That's all it is.
And he
Every
just,
single thing.
yes. And he just squeezed just squeezed them, squeezed every small business.
Yeah.
We're going to send contact tracers. We're going to have interviewers. Oh, I was hanging out at this one store. I went to Grand Union and one guy didn't wear a mask and they didn't kick him out. Then all the contact tracers are just going to swarm into that store. And it's not going to be worth it for any of these businesses to not enforce the mask policy.
Is it
going to be a revolutionary action for a small business, and it was something I believe is a mandatory revolutionary action for a small business to say, you know, no, you don't have to wear your mask in here. But really
is there
made it
any
difficult.
end in sight? This is
No.
it. You wear a mask for the rest of your life.
There's no end in sight to the Corona Bona disaster. He will not take until he dies. There's no end in sight.
So now because of this virus with more than a 99% survival rate, everybody has to wear a mask forever.
Ever.
Not me, man. Not me. And I just went to Chick-fil-A the other day. They were the nicest folks in the world. No mask. They had masks. The workers had masks. I didn't have a mask. And they were like, how can I help you, sir? And I was like, yeah, I need some extra Chick-fil-A sauce. So shout out to them. Now, that's not a small business.
Where?
That's
In Hell's
probably-
Kitchen up there? Or like what Chick-fil-A?
Avenue of the Americas, 6th Ave, I think.
6th Ave? I have only been to one. It was like on 55th and 8th or something like that.
No, they're popping up though. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them now. But I just happened to be. I went to just go check out and see what Times Square was looking like, and I think I ended up on 44th and 6th or something like that.
All right, just I just want people to know where their local Chick-fil-A is. You know what I mean?
And it was delicious. I went in there. There was, first of all, there was no line. Usually, there's a line out the door. There was like 2 people in line. The lady took my order. She was so nice, like as though this wasn't even happening. She did have a mask, but besides that, she didn't ask me where my mask was.
Eric, call your agent. Tell your agent to get you in touch with Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is going to sponsor your store.
Dude,
Let's do this.
They
If
were
Chris
super
Rock
nice.
can make money off it, so can you.
I want to know how much they're getting paid if they're going to do
Seriously.
advertisements.
Seriously,
I want to know how much.
seriously, we got to foil that. We have to. With freedom of information,
the FOIA,
yeah, we got to foil that. How much are Rosey and Chris Rock getting paid? Because
says, well, you gotta wear your mask, guys. Think about it. Just
think about how broke Rosey Perez must be right now.
If it were that serious, you wouldn't have to sell it so hard. That's just the bottom line. If it were that serious, you would not have to.
You wouldn't need Rosey Perez.
I just don't understand it. Like you can't be like, well, it's like back in the day. Remember Diddy, all the celebrities used to say, go vote. Of course they weren't. They were telling you to vote Democrat, right? They weren't saying like, we really want everybody to vote. You had LeBron James wearing a Beto O'Rourke hat and Beyonce and Dwayne Wade and all these people. It's like, dude, you guys obviously employ celebrities because you have no good points to make. And anybody with an IQ bigger than their shoe size can see that.
1000%. You want to let's just, I mean, just because this is so epic, I want to hear it finish, but honestly, I got to move on with my life today too.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping to help.
Yeah.
You know, I have complete trust in the governor, and you know, we're soldiers for.
I'm out of here, dude. You gotta stop it. I can't do it anymore. He says I have complete trust in the governor. He does not know what he's talking about. This is.
And he said he's a soldier for the government. He said
And he
he's a
also said he's
soldier.
in Brooklyn, so he's not.
And he's not in Brooklyn. Get out. He's in Westchester if he's lucky.
Look at his gloves, dude, and the way they came out. Ugh.
He's hanging out in Hudson he can't wait to put on his bow tie when he gets back to his boyfriend's house and they drink adrenochrome together. That's exactly, he's hanging out in Hudson. That's what he's doing. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Chris Rock's driving around Brooklyn. Get out of here.
On a panel, wearing gloves.
And a scarecrow hat.
It's not like you're riding the subway. It's not like you're, what is the point of that? It's just a scare tactic. That's all it is.
His mouth is so close to the microphone, and I don't know how they disinfect that microphone.
I just want to know if he's like purposely trying to make himself look like a stupid asshole heroin addict in like.
He looks like Pookie from New Jack City. You remember one of his first roles?
Dude, he's so thin. He's at least Adderalled out to it and methed out of his mind. Like,
he looks like his original role in New Jack City. That's what he looks like right now.
Okay, let's proceed here.
Americans, and I will go wherever I'm called.
People speak out in the neighborhood, self-policing within the community, people giving others a hard time if they're not wearing masks.
You see that a little bit. But most people, New York, try to mind their business.
Yeah.
Spoken out to other people in the neighborhood?
No, I haven't. I give a nice side eye.
I try to bring some levity into the equation, and I say, hey, do the right thing. Put your mask on. Come on, people.
So Rosey Perez grew up in my neighborhood where I live here in Williamsburg. Oh, she acts like she walks down to the bodega here in South Williamsburg to get some coconut water every day. Like, where is she? Is she out on the Hamptons? Like, where is she?
And why are they wearing matching hats? They're like
because they're legitimately scarecrows. They're legitimately scarecrows. Ridiculous.
Also see what really boggles my mind. We talk about how the communities of color, communities of low income and poor, when you step into the communities that are affluent, where you see hipsters and yuppies walking around without a mask, I go, what is it? Is it arrogance?
Defiance. Defiance to your stupidity. That's what it is.
No, this is exact. They're trying to pin two communities against each other by those words.
Yep.
Why would you have to mention the yippies? Where's Eric? What's the borough president? Eric, what's his name? Adams?
Eric Adams? Yeah.
Where is he? He should be on that panel.
They are totally trying to sow divide. She literally just said, when you go into the affluent communities and you see hipsters, they're not wearing a mask, they're arrogant. That's literally what she just said.
And saying that we're the ones. So now when I'm walking down the street and a bunch of black kids see me not wearing a mask, they're going to be like, you see that fucking yuppie with the long hair? He's the reason why the coronavirus is spreading. And now I'm going to have to yoke up 3 black kids on the street and go to jail for it. Is that what's going to have to happen to me? Because Cuomo paid off Rosey Perez to talk this dumb shit. This is what's, oh God.
Honestly, I feel like it's a racial, they're trying to start a race war for no reason. It's retarded.
But let me ask you guys this. Do either one of you guys, and this is just an honest question because I have no idea. Do you see a timeline? Like, when is Cuomo not going to be on television every single day? When is he?
When he's gone. When he's gone, when he's in prison.
He's not.
No, I'm serious.
He's going to be the next president. It's ridiculous. 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 He's going to be the Green New Deal president. I know it. I know these architects of the Green New Deal and the sane energy people and the pipeline people that are hardcore communists and you would think would hate Cuomo. They love him. They love him. Let's finish this crap. They love him because they know that they got him. Let's finish this crap. Oh, God.
Who are not going to be affected, okay, fine, that's your thing, but you're affecting me too. And
I know.
that I really do not understand, and people are not talking about that. You know, we're encouraging Latinos and African Americans to wear a mask, you know, that come from, you know, low-income communities. Well, you know what? Everyone needs to get on board. Everyone, put your arrogance aside, put your ego aside,
Nope.
you know, and come together.
Nope.
The governor said it's about humanity, you know, so
Yep.
if anything that I could
Yep.
do, be a cheerleader, let Chris tell a few jokes to get people put a mask on, we will do whatever we can to be part of this campaign.
Yeah, also just to reinforce Rosie's point, this is predominantly an issue with younger people. I think part of it is the way this was communicated initially. It was initially communicated, don't worry if you're a young person, this is only about old people and young people won't get it. That turned out not to be 100% true, but I think that was the first message that went out there. I remember there was a
lot of things
video
weren't 100% true, Cuomo.
young guy who was in Florida partying, and he's on the video and he says, yes, coronavirus, young guys don't get it, only old people get it. I'm not going to let it stop me from partying. I'm going to go when they were partying down on the Florida beach.
And now he's dead.
You can't find that video anymore. But I think that's the way it came out. And so part of this is correcting that. And it's not just one community or another. I think it's young people all across the board, you know. And plus they're young, you know, they're superheroes. They're Superman, Superwoman, nothing can affect them. And even, which is not true, but even if it were true, you can kill your mother, your father, or your grandparents.
And there it is.
Whoever you happen to come across. Let's take one more, because they have to get to work.
Right now, New York City has the same amount of
Just
deaths.
excuse me one second. Anyone didn't ask a question? Okay, go
New
ahead.
York City has a mix of confirmed and probable deaths, which is now about the same as the amount that New York State is reporting in total. The city managed to come up with a tally of confirmed and probable deaths. Does New York State have any plan to do the same so that New Yorkers can understand really overall what an impact this has had on our state?
Yeah, just so we're clear, some states, different places do it differently all across the country, but they're two different numbers, right? Confirmed death is confirmed death. And then there's another calculus, which is probable, but we're not sure. And we'll tell you when we find out. That's probable.
When
So
they
they're two
bury up the
different
bodies in
numbers.
Hart Island?
Do you know, Melissa, on our count, which one do we provide?
The city provides the probable
Yeah.
and the confirmed, and the nursing homes
Probable and confirmed. Let's see, nursing homes.
are reported the probable and the confirmed.
Oh, this is their way out of it, guys. This is his way out of his nursing home disaster. By going, well, listen, they were probable. So just because they had the corona doesn't mean the corona what's killed them. This is how he's using his own thing to slip his way out of the nursing home scandal by saying that the probable deaths we're not certain that those are from corona anyway. What
But you can also use those same probable deaths to cause panic and fear and lock everything down and gain control. So it works both ways.
I'm telling you, man, this guy's good, man. This guy is good at what he does. I gotta pee. Do you want me to just finish the Cuomo thing or what? Because I'm like squirming over here. Okay, good. You guys, I can't stop it if you want to start talking. So you just gotta, all right. So.
And to provide the probable death number.
I'll have to check in with DOH about that. And I think it's only 10 states in the country are currently providing probable and confirmed. So as the governor said, this is an uneven accounting. Even when you look state to state, I think everyone needs to consider that when they're doing the state to state comparisons. But I'll check in with DOH and we'll get back to you.
Yeah. The probable, you know, confirmed death means confirmed. I don't know what really probable means. Okay, thank you all very much. Chris, thank you. Rosie, thank you.
He doesn't even know what probable means.
He doesn't know what anything means. Oh, he forgot to put on his mask.
Oh, what happened? What's up with that box?
I have no idea, but he forgot to put on his mask.
One picture like
What is that? I want to see.
This is insanity. This is absolute insanity. I am not, so this thing as far as probable deaths are concerned, I gotta get out of here too. I'm gonna go walk around Brooklyn without my mask, but this thing about probable deaths, it works on both ends, right? So he can say, oh, well, we're not sure that those people died of COVID, so it's not on me. But we can also say, well, these people might have died of COVID, so we need to shut down the entire city, the entire state. So it works on both.
But you also have to know that they cremated a lot of bodies. So even if you get the information, if you get like an order to have the bodies dug out, a lot of bodies were cremated. And the reason why they were cremated is because they had no relatives.
This is such a mess. And I guess we didn't watch every single minute of it, but he did not address the expiration of the May 28th pause.
I will send you, it's till September. He has executive order rights till September.
Yes, but that does not mean the pause will go on through September.
I get it. But he can do whatever he wants. Technically, New York State is on pause till June 13th.
I don't believe that to be true either.
I'm
looking at it right here.
The executive orders, he's shifting them around. He's deleting parts of the executive orders on his website right now. I have to find copies. He's deleting some of his executive orders.
He's moving the goalposts around. He's changing everything around depending on which way the wind's blowing, and he still will not admit to any inkling of wrongdoing. I mean, he has not been good at any of this. From the very start, he has not done anything even remotely correct. He's only made bad assumptions, bad predictions, bad executive orders.
That got people killed. That literally got people killed. He kept pushing the whole telecom BS on everyone. And I don't know if you do, but I know people that passed away because we have no access to a doctor. He got people sick because they had to go to the hospital. They got infected in the hospital. They have all these masks that are giving away to people. Why didn't the nurses have PPE? The nurses had no PPE. They touched one patient, went to another patient, and another patient, and they were giving them antibiotics. What happens when you give people antibiotics? Other bacteria like C. diff, people can get infected, and they didn't change their PPE.
So, and that's only half of this battle, because that's just the medical side. We haven't even looked at all the economic destruction that he's caused.
Suicides. Right? Suicides. Just literally suicides. There are more people committing suicide today than they did last year today. 100 times more. Murder rate. Literally murder rate. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours. We have shootings every single day after 11 o'clock. Every single day there's a shooting.
I believe it. Listen,
they're trying to set us into this race war, into this class war with Rosey O'Donnell talking about the yuppies and the hipsters. And I mean, this just won't stop, dude.
Guys, this has been great. It's been over 2 hours already, though.
Yeah, we've been at it. It's just so hard. It's so hard to get through any one sentence of his, but I totally understand it, and we shall do it again.
All right. Thank you so
Sounds
much.
good, guys.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Wear your mask.
Yeah.